Hey everyone, I'm going to talk about season 2, episode 2 of What If with Peter Quinn that the Earth's Mightiest Heroes takes place in 1988 when Quill was after 6 months after Quill was taken from Earth and this time was given to Ego to Yondu here, and each based on what we know of him going to Galaxy Farm 2, we understand who Ego is, his plans for what he's been doing and what he did to Quill's mom, and it's interesting seeing how we have the same information from a different time period. I find that fascinating how that really worked. I enjoyed Quill here in this episode, especially his little friendship with Hope Van Dyne, which is actually unexpected, yet it was actually fun to see because we know who Hope Van Dyne is throughout the MCU, and we see a younger side of her. On the side note, we understand that Hank basically lied to Hope about what happened to her mom, and then we understand that the real story of in A7 when Jenna went subatomic to stop a missile from blowing up is something that Hank lying to her felt like was something that he had to do, and that's always something in the back of Hope's mind. I think about her mom a lot. It's not mentioned here, I just want to show that in because it's something that is in the back of her mind, and that would have given something to her and Hope and Peter to relate to about not having their mom on the side in their lives, and which Peter discusses earlier later in the episode with Hank. Individually, I'm not talking about the characters one by one. Not much of Ego other than nothing new with Ego. Is saying that we know who he is, we know what type of character he is, how he just wants to save the world, but really we know what his deal is here in this time period. Peggy is working in S.H.I.E.L.D. with Howard Stark here, and remember that scene from the first Ant-Man film about the pen particle formula. We had Hank and Howard and Peggy didn't really see eye to eye that much in the beginning of the first Ant-Man film. Here or there, we have a better sense of more so why, and also from the new mission, which is them from doing a new mission of having Quill being dangerous, that he crash landed into Manhattan, where normally would Avengers were assembled later on. Peggy actually did what she could with what she knows, was the one who thought of recruiting everyone from Bill, Hank, and Tashaka, and even the Winter Soldier as well. Howard and Peggy mostly took a back seat and operated the mission from a distance to tell the other characters what to do with going Quill, and there was a moment where Howard was that he has to deal with kids, particularly his kid, which is just one with Tony, and he said and from based on what we know from the Civil War film, Tony was a young adult in probably that time period, so that's very interesting to really think about how did, always in Howard's mind, he sees Tony as a kid. He's trying to do what he can to prepare him for the real world. Tony learns throughout the Iron Man films. The way they introduced Bucky was quite something. They introduced him as the Winter Soldier, and Peggy and Howard were talking about the possibility to house Bucky and hearing rumors, and how if they, in this universe, if they know that Hydra is really saying that they didn't really, later on in the future, Rogers would know, and Bucky would have his masking for his secret identity. There was a big deal when the Winter Soldier film when Steve and Bucky were fighting, and it revealed who he was. So then, in the future, when Steve will wake up from the ice, besides Peggy, who's 70 years older than how she was last time she saw Steve, him thinking that she would be the only one left from his past. Bucky will be in his life, so maybe that's a good thing. However, the approach of it all would be so different if we would have saw that happen, instead of seeing Steve fighting the Winter Soldier. You would like know who, that they would have a sense of who they are, and it would be a little bit harder for Bucky to have his mind on that as well, knowing that he would know that Steve would come out of the ice and know who Bucky is really when it comes to all this terrible stuff that the Winter Soldier has done. Since Steve was on ice, they had Wendy Lawson in this episode, who was Star Force Quill, pilot from the Captain Marvel film. She was really fun to watch. Learning more about her was also fascinating. How they approached her. She was interested in learning more about the technology Ego had with the ship that Quill was on. We crash landed. We got introduced to a younger version of Keen, T'Chaka, and Howard mentioned that Keen, T'Chaka's father, donated vibranium, and that was apparently the shield. That was Captain America's shield. It's obviously they haven't found Rogers yet. He's currently on ice. Black Panther here. I actually really like seeing this new approach, seeing another side of how he's been seeing a different type of Kane of Wakanda here, and part of a mission that's global for this. It's weird that he didn't have anyone next to him like Dora Milaje, in the Civil War film, T'Challa, he would have someone on his side, with the Dora Milaje, but they would have to be in armor, They were, one of the dogs was wearing casual clothes, when she was speaking to Black Widow, you'd be moved. Remember that scene? It's with a character like him who's a king of an international country who is secretive, just have to have vibranium and other stuff. It's just being there by himself. That was really odd that it was approached like that. However, other than that, I actually really enjoyed seeing his character here. And then we have Hank here on side Hope, who's young, and then Hank and Bill Foster was also introduced to a young version of him, and that's Bill was wearing the suit that he mentioned that he was known as Goliath in the Ant-Man and Wasp film. They spoke about the fact that he was also able to grow, and when he grew in Coney Island, when he was trying to stop Peter from causing a lot of danger, no one around saw him grow. It was as if he was the only one there. However, part of the possibility that S.H.I.E.L.D. took to clear the place out, so it was no one was able to possibly see Goliath grow. So that could be a possibility. But yeah, also interesting how that was for that. I actually enjoyed Hank in this episode, seeing how he treats Hope here, and the way he communicates with everyone else in S.H.I.E.L.D. and Foster, and seeing how useful and caring he was for Peter and Anne, and talking to Peter, trying to understand him, where he's coming from, and talk about Hank was talking to Quill about Janet, Van Dyne, but how much he misses her, so that was actually lovely to see. There were some things about Bucky here that was a little off. It seemed like there was a big deal for the other characters, and also for Peggy as well. Especially knowing what we know about how the world saw the Winter Soldier, before it revealed that to the world that was Peggy, and later on in the future, in fact, the Winter Soldier, like, most of the world know who Peggy is, but anyways, Peggy is in that point in time, but for here in this moment in time, it feels like Peggy was himself in a way we expect him to be in, compared to what we know in the original MCU timeline. The Winter Soldier was about to kill Quill, and Howard was talking to the Winter Soldier over the comms, and about that, the fact that if it was Rogers, he wouldn't, kill Peter, so that was something that really got to him, for him to stand down, even though he wanted to, because he felt like he wanted to finish the job. And then, about this episode, in the middle of the episode, in Coney Island, door appears, and we have a more serious door than we saw in the previous season of What If. Yeah, just one small, so of him not understanding a lot of culture or everything. So in this timeline, this is Thor's first time being in Earth and Midgard, because Quill's and in Missouri, the Sentinel seed was a big deal, and so he went to Missouri first to grab it, and then he went to Coney Island. So it makes sense why he didn't see the Rainbow Bridge or anything like that. He probably already, the Rainbow Bridge pathway was probably in Missouri, and he just flew from Missouri all the way to Coney Island to approach Peter. He was able to capture Quill and take him in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody with other Mightiest heroes who were able to discuss what to do next and all stuff. And also Thor and Peggy were actually agreeing with the idea of taking Peter out for good, basically turning him, because he was that dangerous in their minds, and that's something that Hope was very against. She wanted the Mightiest heroes to think of a solution instead of a way to end Quill's life. She felt like there was a better way of handling all this about resulting to killing Quill. And on a side note, Hope and Peter bonding with music really helped them. The thing with Hope Van Dyne loving music and showing her love for music, because it reminds her of her mom, expressing that too. Quill was a big deal for those two when they were talking when Quill was captured. That was something we didn't really get a sense of in the other Ant-Man films. When it comes to Hope, when it comes to music, it was more so just other memories alongside that, thinking about her life, past life with Janet. And then we see Bill and Hank really worked together really well here. I actually enjoyed that. I feel like that was something that Bill and Hank didn't really see eye to eye in Ant-Man and the Wasp. They didn't really understood each other really well. They had in that timeline, their rough paths, they didn't felt like they understood each other's ways, and because of the pinball goals and a bunch of other stuff we're doing, the Ant-Man stuff, the Ant-Man type of work that they would do, especially that Hank used to work in S.H.I.E.L.D. and Bill was more so hands-on in S.H.I.E.L.D. And eventually we know that he would end up working for Ghost. I actually like this episode and seeing a different side of these characters in a different way. Perhaps the way Peggy was here, he was this way for a reason, because we saw a different portrait of him. I have heard of Dyne with him basically talking with Thor about killing Quill didn't really face Peggy or Howard that much. We didn't see them say it's Bucky, that didn't really happen. So other than that, I feel like this episode was brilliantly done. It's interesting seeing, characters like Peter and Hope, the characters in the MCU that we know and love and appreciate from a younger, side in their lives. Seeing them in a different angle here and actually bonding really well, having something in common that you would never really think about. They think about how many characters in the MCU that we know that would have common interests of each other, and also the age aspect of our, with Bucky and Thor, characters that we know of that are in the future, also in the past, but they feel like they're the same age. You know what I'm saying? Peter Stores, and that's Guardian, so he has this age, and he felt like they have age in the future, in the Thor films and all that stuff. It's interesting seeing Bucky here talking more and communicating more in terms of him being on missions, because that's something that we never really saw in the original timeline, and where he was mostly not doing that. No, since he's a soldier, he was more focused on missions where he was speaking our language. He was more focused on keeping a low profile on all these things that happened within his missions, all these things. Yeah, that was interesting to think about. Other than that, I actually thought this episode was actually brilliant. I actually enjoyed watching it and seeing how they did about how these characters are, especially with Hank, Howard, and Peggy. There's more of a history here, and also Bucky. It's a history type thing with these characters we know of, these characters from the past to the present of the MCU, seeing how these characters are, and also the future also. When it comes to Howard, what his name has done, the impact these characters have had, especially towards Tony in the future, and what Howard Stark has done for S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these things. Let me know what you think about this episode. Did you guys enjoy this episode as much as me? Alright, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Alright, bye.